If you're here, you've probably heard some of the crazy claims that are going around about zeolite, specifically the nano-sized one that comes in a spray. I will go through my experience that I had taking it for off and on for years, probably 5 years, and I will also give my opinion as a nutritionist, a holistic nutritionist and gut health specialist and qualified health coach. And I will also give a brief overview on the literature and what the research is actually saying. So first of all, I want to preface this video by saying I do not sell TRS or any form of zeolite. I just thought I would make a video about this after hearing both some miracle stories, some horror stories, and just some confusion about what it is exactly. So it must be a good few years since I've actually had the TRS. I bought it to detox heavy metals. Now, actually at that stage, didn't even know if I had a high heavy metal load. But I did get some heavy metal testing done after I did take the zeolite for a number of years. I spent hundreds of dollars on it. Now, I didn't have any sort of detox reactions that you hear some people having. I didn't really notice that much of a benefit except for one particular thing, which was quite amazing. And that was that my eyesight actually had improved. So it improved by a couple of diopters. I actually had to change my prescription. I have had eyesight issues since I was a very young child, so that was quite amazing. And years later, it has degraded a little bit, but my prescription's been pretty steady, which is unique because every time I would get an eye test, I would have to get a stronger prescription before I had taken that mineral. But I guess the important question is if it actually detoxed my heavy metals. Now, I can't say for sure because I didn't take a test beforehand, before I started taking it. But what I can tell you is that I still had some heavy metals in my system, and I did have some deranged levels. Now, the main one that I had was actually copper, and I also still had some nutrient deficiencies as well. So I have had a lot of health problems when I was younger. I'm much better now. So, you know, my mineral levels could have been a heck of a lot worse than what they initially showed. But my HTMA test, my first one, was not very good. So I'm just going to take a step back and tell you actually what a HTMA test is, because probably no one really knows what it is. Basically, you take a hair sample from your head, send it to a laboratory, and it measures your tissue mineral levels and your heavy metals as well. So copper is actually a heavy metal when it gets to high levels like mine was. And it can be just as bad to detoxify copper. It can be quite uncomfortable, as can things like lead and mercury when they get stirred up and then they're actually being removed from your body. Now, zeolite is supposed to minimize that with their caged sort of structure. It gets all captured. So that's supposed to lessen your detox reactions. So when I was at university studying nutrition back in 2018, I did a report on zeolite, and a lot of research went into that. Now, the natural zeolite, actually, there's some really good evidence for it removing heavy metals and other contaminants from water, and so like animal feed, but not a lot of research has gone into humans. There is some animal studies out there, so I mean it is a pretty good indicator on what it would do in the human when it comes to removing toxicants. Where zeolite gets a lot more controversial is the man-made nano-sized zeolites that come in the sprays that are quite expensive actually. So I think the only research that's been done on those ones are by the actual companies themselves, and we all know that can be a conflict of interest. So you can't really say for sure what these nano-sized particles can do to your organs crossing the blood-brain barrier, and the long-term consequences of that. So it's really hard to say, you know, some people have incredible benefits from it. I don't know if they're actually sellers or distributors though, but there is also quite a few people who have reported terrible side effects, and others are quick to chime in that that is a detox reaction happening. I think it's worth it simply because of my experience, my eyesight improvement. But yeah, as I said, with the test results for my minerals and heavy metals, it was a little bit inconclusive. But you know, having improved eyesight is not a placebo effect. So my final verdict is it's actually a significant investment, and for that price, I think you can get more bang for your buck. So with the HTMA tests, finding out which minerals you're deficient in, which heavy metals you have, and then developing a personalized plan on that, because it's actually not very well known that replenishing your minerals that you need is actually the safest and comes with the least amount of side effects when it comes to detoxing heavy metals.